I'm going to do some more videos later on kind of prior awakening and what those storylines mean. But right now, I just want to do a quick video talking about holding a higher level of awareness in your form. So post awakening, you're shown what God is. You're shown consciousness and how it works. And some people hit this when they do drugs, but a true awakening process is you reach that state without drugs, and it kind of shatters your world for a period of time, and everyone takes the timing is, it can stretch right on that integration aspect, and then you go through multiple layers of death post that inside of yourself, because essentially you remember your true state and what God is and the love and the light, and how all of this is really not real, and it's all kind of silly. But now you must shed all distortion and beliefs. So you want to get to a point where you have a really deep understanding that everything that's attached to you is just behavioral belief systems that humanity has created over however many years, that have been created because of their disconnection or belief of their disconnection from God in a higher dimension. And so you are now responsible for taking that higher level of awareness, using your intuition, and understanding that you have the power to rewire your nervous system and habits with a higher level of being. On top of that, you're understanding that every time you're doing this, not only are you healing yourself, you're healing the collective as a whole, because everything is connected energetically. This is like just happening worldwide, and it happens when you go out and about in your day. So when you are acting out something over and over and over again, it's so important you stay conscious through the whole process and get to a point where you talk to yourself out loud and you recognize that everything is just habitual. And like I said before, you have the power to reorchestrate your life and your cells. It's important you do this naturally as the moment arises. If you create too habitual things of like just talking mantra, you're not fully believing in what you're doing. And it's really important that your ego believes in what you're saying to yourself. Then the more you get to doing this, the more the ego will have really deep levels of awareness that it is directly connected to God. And every single time you go out and about and you're speaking to someone, you're speaking to God. So even me doing these videos to people, I'm understanding that I'm essentially just explaining to God what I am grasping of this world. That is really why I'm doing these videos. And whoever receives that back and it can help them, wonderful. But these videos are really getting me to accept, my ego to accept how I understand reality operates. And so one of the things too is that you're going to be shown when you enter environments or just how the world operates, a higher way of just existing, right? And you must let go of lower order ways of existing. So for example, for me, I was kind of shown to sell anything I had in the stock market because the stock market is kind of a joke. And it doesn't really make sense to me and how we should operate in a higher dimension. Now, I don't understand fully how the world will shift in future timelines, but I'm accepting that I'm extremely powerful, and where my energy goes actually shifts the world. So one of the other things that I remembered about my journey personally that I want to share in case anyone resonates is that it's not my job to necessarily only awaken one person like my counterpart. I have been planted into different environments on what I like to call assignments, because I'm able to see women and men who have a divine architecture blueprint, which means that they're one of the original architects of reality. That means that if they feed distortion, they have the power they're holding over that distortion is more powerful, because they essentially actually hold a higher level of awareness and perception. When someone exists in a lower realm of consciousness and they're acting out behaviors, those behavioral patterns don't impact the world negatively when they're out of alignment as someone who operates from a higher level of awareness. If you have the higher level of awareness you are, the more impact your decisions have on the way the world operates. if you are a highly emotional being, whether you're male or female, you likely hold a higher level of awareness because you have to process a lot of the emotions that are attached to the lower realms, and you're here to apply a higher level of awareness to override those. If you are suppressing those emotions, compartmentalizing them, and haven't integrated them, you're essentially still feeding hell. And but when you rise, you're going to have to process the fact that you've been feeding hell this whole time, and that you actually hold heaven inside of you, and you're here to lift up humanity. So there are definitely different versions in the whole storyline, but those with higher level of awareness, you get to a point where, you know, God is watching you and always with you and has never separated from you. And the reason you've suffered so greatly in this world is because you've always felt this presence inside of you, and this world doesn't reflect what you know is to be true. So your job is to go within and understand, why are you different? And the answers are inside of you that will help you. So this is just something I wanted to share in this video, and it's really starting to get to an acceptance that how powerful you are, and how much impact you have on humanity, and learning to really love ourselves, our body, and also grasping that all of these negative habits that we've formed on ourselves in order to cope with life, we have the power to override them with a higher level of existence. And we have to continually believe in ourselves and work on this. Throughout the day, there are different aspects to what you're feeling. And so most of the time, the emotions come up later in the evening for both men and women. And so that's the perfect time for you to start to analyze, you know, your day and how you impact, like, you know, just talk to yourself, essentially. Don't distract yourself. Really sit with yourself and ask yourself, how could I have been better today? And then tell yourselves, like, next time this blank situation happens, this is how you actually want to respond. And what you'll find is when life puts you in a similar situation again, you'll have a different kind of way to respond than you did the initial time. And this is how you grow and you reform, because you're going through reformation. And just don't guilt or shame yourself through the process.